On this episode, getting the drift, transforming a pair of old Nissan 240s into slip-sliding drift cars. One team thinks a new engine will spark victory if it ever starts.
I thought it was going to be easier than it is.
While the other team battles over parts and feels betrayed by one of their own.
Bing got you that body kit?
Yeah.
Hey, Bing! You're breaking my balls here, man!
It's Team Slideways versus the Throttle Buddies.
2 cars, 2 teams, and 3 days. 2 groups of gearheads try to outgun each other in the garage, turning average autos into amazing rides. It all happens under the expert eye of champion rally car driver Andrew Comrie-Picard. It's a battle to the finish line on Floor of the Wheels.
The Nissan 240SX. It was a proper sports car in Japan, but in North America it was sold with an underpowered engine and so was never very popular with enthusiasts. Until the late 1990s, when 2 things happened. First, tuners found they could import the original engines from Japan. And second, a new motorsport was created, drifting. We have 2 skilled teams of drift maniacs ready to transform these everyday cars into drift monsters. But first, let's turn them over to the judges.
I guess they're going to turn it into a drift car.
Yeah, these cars are excellent drift cars. Rear-wheel drive, front engine.
Adam Hutchinson is a 240SX expert and owns Ontario Race Fabrication.
Problem is they have a small 4-cylinder with very little power.
And the body has a lot of little things, dents and rust spots and that.
Rob Rezzo is a veteran paint and body expert and a manager with the Fix Auto franchise.
Because they're drifting cars, what about the suspension?
It's going to have to be replaced for sure.
Let's take a look at the interior.
Chico Moreira is a legend in custom car audio and is lead designer at 2001 Audio Video.
Obviously, these guys are going to want to lighten it up a bit.
If it's going to be a pure drift car, they're going to probably strip most of the interior out, just from a weight savings point of view.
Well, judges, we have basically the same car.
Yeah, but this one has a lot more work. This bumper's not even fitting well. It's all rusted. I bet you that the frame rails and everything are going to be rusted too. And for drifting, they're going to have a real problem with that.
And you know, this interior smells like somebody's been dead in here for a while.
Well, it's got the same KA motor as the other car. However, the other car, I would say, is structurally, the front end of it is better than this one. This is like a Frankenstein of a bunch of parts.
My feeling on this is that the guys will have a lot more work.
The judges will rate both teams based on the level of improvements made to their designated drift cars. Now, let's meet our challengers. While some of these guys have met before in the drift scene, the Throttle Buddies are working as a team for the first time.
Oh, nice.
We get you the right car, Miggs?
I think so. Rear-wheel drive, that's going to be fun.
Known as Miggs in the drift world, Chris Magallo is a mechanic and champion drift car driver.
We're going to work on a 240SX right now. That means drifting. And drifting is my thing. That's my hobby. That's what I'm really passionate about. So the chance to build a drift car, I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Team Slideways features 4 serious gearheads with vast experience in performance cars.
Nice. It's good. Brown interior.
Do they have a name for that kind of brown?
I don't think we can say that on television. Yeah.
Gotcha. Michael Kent is a veteran drift car racer and owner of DET Driftworks, specializing in drift car mechanical builds.
My first word was car. And the knowledge that I could bring to the table is doing this from a really grassroots level. I mean, I know what will make a car look good going sideways.
Okay, teams, you've seen your cars. Now for the rules. You've only got 3 days to transform your 240s into drift cars and no more than $12,000 to spend on them. Come Judgment Day, your cars have to be ready to be assessed, and then they'll be judged out of 60 points. 20 for the mechanical work, 20 for the exterior and body, and 20 for the interior and audio. After that, we'll go to a drift track, and whoever drifts better will get 10 bonus points. So, Throttle Buddies, How you feeling?
When it comes to drift, it's going to depend a lot more on driver, and we've got a better driver.
We'll see what happens on track day.
Yeah, we're gonna have more power. We're gonna have, you know, a better drift car. They're going down.
All right, teams, talk is cheap, but time's running. Let's get to work. It's day one of the 3-day build, and our teams attack their identical Nissans armed with 2 different strategies.
What we're going to try and prove is that you don't need a lot of power to drift. And we're going to focus mostly on the suspension and the brakes.
Bing Wong runs Canada's largest 240SX club and has owned more than a dozen 240s himself.
It's just a fresh canvas. I've seen their potential. I've seen them go right. I've seen them go really wrong.
We gotta get that suspension on, get it on quick.
Yeah, we gotta get that out of the way.
I consider myself one of probably the top installers around.
Known as Farmer, Brian Stiefel is a 240 club member and a professional audio designer.
I can do whatever I want with the car. Possibilities are endless.
This one's all posts. It's got rod underneath it as well, eh? So regardless, it's coming off. I'm not that cocky, but I think my painting gets it.
Davey Pereira is a pro paint and body man full of great custom car ideas.
The way I can foresee a car, the way it's gonna look, color-wise, color schemes.
On the other side of the garage, Team Slideways have a strategy that's all about power.
This thing is going out.
You gonna swap it?
Yeah.
What's that gonna do for you?
It's actually a smaller engine, but more power.
More power is what Chris St. John is all about. He's a talented mechanic and skilled drift car driver.
I always drove crazy trying to slide every corner. Back then, we didn't know it was drifting. We just had fun, right? That's where my heart is right now, drifting.
I'll rip the interior out, get the color change on the way while you guys work on the mechanical under the hood.
Paul McFarland is an award-winning car audio specialist.
When I saw that interior that we had to deal with, brown interior, we had to change everything in there. It's going to be a lot of work.
Good to go.
Andy DeRoos brings all-around automotive experience to the team.
Suspension, brakes, powertrain, the real hardware.
The build-off is shaping up to be a showdown between power and finesse.
I think it's going to come down to who's more focused. You know, who's got a better game plan. Do you want to shampoo all this stuff to make it easier to work with?
Yeah. So we should do that now.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now then.
The throttle buddies must make sure their stock engine runs well. Team Slideways is planning to install a more powerful engine, so they get to work removing the old one.
We're swapping the motor out. We're doing, intercooler. We're going to do turbo on there. We're just going full out.
The tight deadline gives everyone little time to figure out what makes their cars and teammates tick.
3 days, that's not a lot of time. And of course, the biggest thing for me is I don't know these guys. I don't know the strengths. I don't know the weaknesses.
I'm sure we're going to have some arguments and disagreements, and I'm ready for it. It'll be all right.
That's dangerous. Nice. Morning.
We have to work as a team, and we have to stay focused.
Their strategies may be different, but these two teams have one thing in common: confidence.
We've got the power, the skill, the knowledge, and the determination to make a competent and reliable drift car on any racetrack anywhere in the world.
We are going to win this competition because we are dedicated to getting this job done, regardless of what it takes.
Coming up, our teams take it to the track for bragging rights and bonus cards. As day one continues, our two teams are deep into turning their Nissan 240s into drift cars. At the end of the build, both rides will be judged for points and the teams will compete in a drift-off. Drifting is a niche sport that presents special challenges for the build, and each team thinks they have the best strategy.
It's very open that we're doing two different things, and we're taking two different approaches.
Our team strategy is power with beauty. It's going to be show with go,
We decided not to do a turbo car. For drifting, you can do it with a normally aspirated car with a proper suspension setup.
The engine in the Throttle Buddies 240 has over 400,000 kilometers on it. They plan to scrub it down and tune it up to make sure it can withstand the intense demands of drifting. Inside, Team Slideways' plan puts an emphasis on horsepower.
Relying on suspension only to win a drift event is risky. The
Best thing I ever did to my drift car? Build a motor.
Before you install a new motor, you have to take out the old one, and Team Slideways is elbow deep in this complex process.
This is some Jane Fonda shit, man. 20 minutes into this, and I'm sweating like a...
The motor swap is not a small endeavor. If nobody had ever done this swap before, there's no way we'd be able to pull this off.
Taking an engine out and putting an engine back in, not only does it take a lot of time, but it leaves a lot of room for error.
Our teams know that it's very hard to build a good drift car for only 12,000 bucks, and they'll do anything to get an advantage. So now they're going to get a chance to win an extra part. It's time to put down the tools and step away for our first challenge. All right, teams, welcome to the challenge. And the challenge is a go-kart race. Each one of your team members will compete doing 3 hot laps of this track. Then we'll total your best lap times. Whichever team runs faster overall will win a set of these rims to put on their car. Nice. Gentlemen, start your engines. Mike and Davey are the first drivers to duke it out. On your marks, get set. Go down. Go! And with pride and parts on the line, nobody wants to lose. Thanks to Davey, the Throttle Buddies are off to a quick start. All right, gentlemen, go! Bing is ready to bring it home for the boys in blue, even if he has to play hardball. Takes the third heat for Team Slideways. And if Andy can take the 4th, it could mean a comeback. Out of my way! We did it, man. We did it. We did it. How do you feel about your chances overall?
I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
All right, teams, and I have the results. The Throttle Buddies with a total time of 86 seconds, .725. 86.725.
That sounds great.
Yes, we need this. We need this. We need this.
Team Slideways with a total time of 85.8.
We needed that, man. We needed that.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Congratulations, but you got a lot of work to do. We got to get back to the garage and finish the cars.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank God. Thank God.
Back at the garage, the teams don't waste any time getting back into their builds. And Team Slideways is nearly ready to install their SR20 turbo engine.
That's sweet, man. That's like total transformation.
We've got the entire interior gutted. The whole engine bay is clean.
Door stands are all half done.
SR20's prepped, ready to go.
I want the engine in tonight. It'd be ready to run tonight.
The other team chose not to do a motor swap, and I guarantee you it's because the amount of work and complexity that's involved.
You know, even in the end, if we don't win this drift event, what it should come down to is, could the other team have done what we did? That's what it comes down to. Could they have done a motor swap? I don't think so.
The Throttle Buddies think their opponent's turbo engine swap is overrated.
Their big thing is horsepower, 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 whereas my thing is driver skill and a properly balanced car. That's the angle we're taking right now.
But as the team's driver, Miggs knows keeping their stock motor is also a gamble.
I'm a little worried because this is just 140 horsepower, old tired engine. It has 400,000 kilometers on it. So we might take it to the track, do a couple runs, and boom, it might just blow. So that's the one big risk that we're taking. I want to win, badly. I can tell you that much.
And their strategy for winning involves more than just mechanicals.
We're going to have to win on the aesthetics. We're going to have a sharp stereo and a sharp interior for sure.
Farmer is overseeing the Throttle Buddies' interior transformation, but he's having trouble getting access to the car.
I need it down for like an hour, man. I need to make some more templates.
An hour's way too long.
Well, not if you don't want me to do the stereo.
Okay.
Just gonna make it look simple, make it look nice and clean. We don't have the time frame to be elaborate and be all really, really crazy. I'll make it look good, I'll make it sound good.
You know, this competition is looks, interior, sound, and we want to put the whole package on the ground.
Team Slideway's interior is being designed by Paul, and his first priority is a color change.
We had that ugly brown interior, as you guys saw. So now we've got it all a nice satin black. So we'll go with the whole theme, red and black. And we got a lot of red accents, like this dash panel going in right here. So.
But that's just the beginning of his plans for the new interior.
We had to think of something different, something that the other team wasn't going to do and wasn't going to think of. We're going to pull the back seats out. We're going to put the stereo up there where the back seats were.
So we're going to try and mold this right in and basically blend it right back from here right into the back of the car. So it looks like one big piece and a nice custom enclosure.
Across the garage, Bing is confident his team can outmuscle the competition.
I need somebody stronger than me. I need somebody stronger than me. Beauty. You know what, to be honest with you, the coolest part is probably Dave's bodywork, the fact that we're under here and he's already doing all that stuff right now.
What I've done is I've basically 180'd all the dents, any scratches the car might have had. I went ahead and modified the fenders, and I put the slit in it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it in like that, and then we're going to do like a backside of mesh or some type of grill in there. It'll just make it look a little bit more modern. Bing and Migs have their vision for the suspension and how the car is going to handle. I have the vision for what the car is going to look like. I think between all that combined, I think we got a pretty serious car.
Davey's background in bodywork gives the Throttle Buddies an advantage over Team Slideways, who have no body specialist. It's up to Andy, the team's general mechanic, to design a paint scheme.
I got a picture in my mind of what we're going to do with this thing paint-wise. I think it's going to look really trick.
We'll make this look like a show car inside, a race car on the outside.
I need you guys to come and see me for about 5 minutes because I just want to make sure we're confirmed on what we're doing with the paint.
Okay, let's go.
We got to nail down the specs, and then we got to go with the colors too.
Yeah, I think that's good.
As day one comes to an end, these two transformations are well underway, but both teams have run into problems.
We're missing some of the parts that we had planned to have for today. Yeah.
And over at Team Slideways, Chris's goal to get the engine installed today has come up short.
The thing that's taken us a little bit longer and I wasn't expecting is we're doing more with keeping it clean and trying to do it show. So it's taken more time. I thought it was going to be easier than it is.
Coming up, a battle over body kits threatens to break up one team over their build.
Bing is more concerned about the other team than his own team.
It's early in day two and both teams have made a lot of progress. Team Slideways has removed their stock 240 power plant and they're installing a new turbo motor imported directly from Japan. The Throttle Buddies haven't done anything on the engine. They're focusing on suspension upgrades that they think are important for drifting. Both teams are confident about where they're at, but there's still lots to do and lots can go wrong. The Throttle Buddies start this crucial second build day feeling relaxed. I know you were here late last night and here early this morning. How you feeling sort of fatigue-wise?
I kind of slept in a little bit.
How you feeling about your progress?
The fact that we didn't take out the engine and just kind of fiddled underneath the car, I think that's really paying off for us. Yeah? The other team still doesn't have their engine running yet, and we're all pretty much done everything under the car.
Not only is Team Slideways' new engine not running, it's still sitting on the floor.
We're at a tight schedule, and you know it's a gamble. We're giving it everything we got.
Let's get busy. Or not.
Desperate to get back on schedule, Team Slideways pulls together to install their new engine.
Get on top of her. We're good.
There we go.
That was a biatch. Look at that, man. Look at that in there. That looks sick.
Unfortunately, the physical install is just the first of many challenges for Chris, who's overseeing the engine swap.
He has to rewire this harness from this JDM Japanese spec motor to work in a North American car. Hopefully he can get all that wiring figured out right. I'm sure he will, and we'll get that motor running, but that's my biggest fear.
The Throttle Buddies are doing some engine work as well.
Cool one.
Since they decided to keep their stock motor, the goal is to make it run as efficiently as possible.
We're trying to save as much horsepower as we can for driving the wheels. So here we have a mechanical fan. That's an excess, that's another load on the engine. So we're gonna pull off this mechanical fan that's belt driven. We're gonna put on this electric fan that we just happen to find outside in the parts bin.
As you can imagine, you get this many young mechanics in a garage, and they've each got their own cool car parked outside. Well, we've asked each team to choose one car to represent them in a side challenge. It's time to put down the tools for the Show and Shine Showdown. All right, teams, welcome to the Show and Shine. The winner of this competition will get this monster tachometer and a shift light to add to their build.
Nice.
So, throttle buddies, what'd you bring?
We brought a '89 Nissan Skyline GT. It's a right-hand drive imported right from Japan.
Davey completely refinished this rare Skyline, including paint and graphics for the lab custom vehicles.
We got the ultimate drift car here. In Japan, it's known as Baby Godzilla.
All right, guys, what did you bring?
If that's Baby Godzilla, well, we know who the daddy is right here, Godzilla. A '99 Dodge Viper, classic American muscle. V10 supercharged, kicking stereo, stop tech brakes, it's got everything you can want.
Paul designed and installed the entire custom audio package on this supercharged Dodge Viper.
All right, well, they're both impressive cars, guys. Let's turn them over to the judges and see what they have to say.
Sounds good.
Well, Rob, we've got a couple of nice cars over here.
Yeah, this thing's sharp. I love the paint scheme with this painted on racing stripe on it. The right-hand drive, you gotta like that, eh?
Let's take a look at this engine. So this is your typical Japanese Nissan. They call it the Skyline. Inline 6 turbo, impressive. So this would be your classic drifter, no? Should we take a look at the stereo?
Yeah, wonder what's in it.
Big Alpine amplifier, 310s, Type Rs. You know, it's a lot of power.
It's nice
It's a
to
classic.
see
It's a
that. Yeah, it is a
classic.
classic, and a clean car.
And then we've got the American muscle car.
Yeah, this is nice. Nice color on it. That's a nice silver on it. Beautiful lines.
This is a beautiful car. V10, lots of horsepower, 6-speed, serious interior, very nice and clean, well put together. There we go. Wow. Now there's a Viper.
Yeah, that's a nice engine. Look at that. It's shoehorned in. Look at that. You can't even put your hand in if you want.
Now, as if this thing doesn't have enough power, this guy added a supercharger.
Power times 2 now.
Now, I'm told that this car's got a really nice system. Oh yeah, this guy spent a fair amount of money in time. What this guy's done is he molded the woofer enclosure into typically where the spare tire well was. It's hard to pick, isn't it? You got the classic versus today's muscle car.
I guess what we'll have to do is race them.
I think I got you off the start, no?
I'll beat you around the corner.
Well, let's see.
All right, teams, the judges have looked at your cars and they loved them both. They loved the Viper for its big engine. They loved the supercharger, thought the Viper was excellent. They thought that the R32 was awesome, rare, and a drift car. And because it's like our build and because it's a classic, you guys win the tachometer.
Oh, nice, 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 nice.
All right, guys, you got a lot of work to do. Let's get back to the garage.
Good, sounds good.
The teams have barely returned to their builds when I have to interrupt them with bad news about missing parts.
All right, teams, can I get you in here for a quick meeting? Got to talk to everybody. We're still missing the body kits. We're doing what we can, but they're not here yet. So, anybody got any ideas?
I know of one kit we can get.
You know of a kit? Get on the horn. Call. You guys know about a kit?
I've got one lined up I can have in tonight.
I think it's the same kit we're talking about.
I think so too.
Okay, you ready? Get on the phones. Oh, he's got the number on the phone already.
He's talking to him already? He's talking to him already?
That's what they gotta say.
Talking already. I already had the kit lined up actually in anticipation of this, so it shouldn't be a problem.
If we had another bumper.
Not yet.
You just give him a kick in the bing.
players because they got an intercooler, so I let you guys have to.
Yeah, thanks, Bing.
That's it.
Nice, man.
Perfect.
That's great. Bing got you that body kit? Yeah. Sweet Bing! You're breaking my balls here, man.
Our team comes first, Bing. This is how this works.
They've got the intercooler and all that stuff, so we don't even have
I
a
don't
rack.
care about that, man.
The problem is that the other guys on the team don't like the fact that we're not getting the kit that we had originally ordered, which we couldn't get two, we could only get one. Now their kit is going to be a lot more aggressive, it's going to be a lot lower, but it's also going to take a bit more work, and it's going to be a lot more fragile because it's fiberglass.
Bing is more concerned about the other team than his own team, so
What do you want?
we're dying for this bloody body kit. We've been waiting, and yeah, and he gives it to the other team, you know? I guess in Bing's world that makes sense.
It's the way it should be. They've got a big intercooler, and so they're going to need a big open space in the bumper. We don't have an intercooler, so we don't really need that. So, I mean, it's probably more fair this way.
I can't wait till our body man comes. He's going to have a heyday with this. He's going to be very happy, I can tell.
Is it a big problem with the kit?
I just want to see what we're dealing with. Oh, okay.
Both teams must have their body kits installed and ready for the paint shop by tomorrow morning. So everyone is facing a very late night.
Just watch out, man.
One bolt.
Coming up, it's a race to the paint shop.
Very frustrating. I mean, we're at a serious deadline.
It's the start of day 3. The teams are back at it early this morning, even though they only left the garage a few hours ago. First order of the day for Team Slideways, try to start their new engine.
3, 2, 1, here we go.
It's in? It's done?
It ran surprisingly well.
Oh yeah.
It started right up. Timing was dead on. Really smooth.
They're also feeling good about the body kit donated to them by Bing.
Man, this kit's awesome. Look at it.
From the other team.
It's like gravity's just pulling the bottom of it down.
And they're not concerning themselves with yesterday's controversy over who got which kit.
There's a little bit of friction on the other team between a couple of teammates.
The Throttle Buddies are still divided over Bing's decision to give Team Slideways the newer body kit.
There was a little bit of people being upset, and we didn't really argue.
That's great. How many is this going on, Ben?
Stop helping the other team!
I'm not helping.
Ass! I think Bing needs to understand that this is a competition, and we're working as a team, and we have to focus on that goal before helping the other team out.
I think what was more important is that both teams actually got kits and that the show continued on as planned. I mean, I guess it added a little bit of drama to it.
We left it at the kit is here, let's put it on, let's make the best of what we got.
And they are finding some positives about their kit.
You know, all our stuff's all Nismo stuff, so it's factory aftermarket, so it all fits on perfect. You're not modifying anything. Time-wise, it was a better choice.
Team Slideways has a much trickier fitting job.
Very frustrating. I mean, we're at a serious deadline, and these things aren't easy to put on.
And without a professional body man, it's taking even longer.
It's going to be difficult. There's no question about it. We're going to be working till the very last minute.
In spite of these limitations, Team Slideways is first out the door to the paint shop.
Boys. Okay, all right, let's go, boys. Motors.
Back at the garage, Miggs has an opinion on why his team has fallen behind.
I think Bing has the least experience out of anybody here when it comes to actually pulling wrenches and getting stuff on the car. Show us the magic, Bing.
Definitely not hands-on. We're gonna go over the suspension, the brakes again. Just gotta make sure that I did everything right because I tend to forget things.
Like I'm wasting time right now, so I'm not terribly happy about that.
Finally, the Throttle Buddies get out of the garage. And when they arrive at Fix Auto, Team Slideways is already applying their new paint scheme.
We're going with a retro paint theme onto it, so it's gonna look like an old style racer. It's gonna be really nice.
Team Slideways' two-tone red and white design is meant to evoke their Nissan's racing heritage.
That's what a turbo car looks like.
The Throttle Buddies have a more modern paint scheme designed by Davey, who will also paint the car himself.
I've always kind of had an idea in my head of a drift car, and now I get to apply it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it look nicer. Paint job's going to be out of this world.
Davey has selected a unique color by Sherwin-Williams that, like a chameleon, changes from green to gold under different lights.
He's really into the body, and he's got some good ideas, which is important because I think that's what the other team is lacking.
Coming up, 2 incredible transformations are revealed.
There's only hours left in this build, and both teams have put their heart and soul into it. You can see they've transformed the cars. There's parts everywhere on the ground. It's an impressive display, but none of it's going to matter if the cars aren't done in time.
Fresh from the paint shop, both teams are blown away by how their drift cars are turning out.
The car's gone through an absolutely unbelievable transition.
I see that you guys got your names along the driver's side of the car. How does it feel to have your name on this car?
It's awesome. I mean, we've done an incredible thing to this car in the time frame we've been given.
The car that we got a couple days ago should have been on its way to the junkyard, but we've turned it around. Now the paint job is wow. Props up to Davey there.
With the outside of these cars looking great, most of the remaining work is in the interiors. And the pressure is on Farmer and Paul to finish their audio installs.
Farmer man, 30 minutes. You gonna get it done?
Well, it's just, time's running out. There's a lot of stuff we've got to do, and we got to get it done.
As the minutes tick down, you're working pretty frantically here. How you feeling about getting it done?
Confident.
Yeah?
Yep. We're right there. We're right at the finish line, you know. All we got to do is just assemble this stuff, and we're home free.
Okay, guys, 5 minutes. 5 minutes, wrap it up. Teams, it's the final minute of the build. Final minute, get ready to put them down.
You guys want to see the fan?
All right, teams, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's time, guys.
We're ready.
All right, teams, it's been a hard 3 days, but you gotten the cars done. Throttle buddies, how you feeling?
Feeling fantastic. The car looks great. Everything came together. We were right on time. The suspension's in, and I'm very happy. I think we all are.
All right, Slideways, how you guys feeling?
We don't have anything to say. Our car speaks for itself. It's possibly one of the better looking 240s in North America to date. That's all we got to say.
Oh, boy.
Well, guys, I love hearing this confidence on both sides of the garage, but let's bring out the cars and take a look.
Do it! Woo! Come on, come on! That is awesome! Bring it! Nice! Yeah! Nice! Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
All right, teams, both of these cars look fantastic. Throttle buddies, what'd you do?
Well, first thing you'll notice in this beautiful car is the chameleon paint job. It just looks amazing. Black on top, car looks mean, looks very, very, very threatening. Look inside, we have a great deal of audio from Clarion, and we did a lot of suspension work. What we wanted to do is have a car that could just handle, and then use the driver's skill mated with that, and then basically prove that this is the real drift car.
All right, guys, big words from the Throttle buddies. Team Slideways, what do you got for that?
Well, we definitely agree with the driver portion. We just think we have a better one. We went with a turbocharged motor instead, which has a lot more power. We got a really nice free-flowing exhaust going, a really nice front-mounted intercooler. Paul did an absolutely amazing job on all the audio, and Chris did a fabulous job with the motor. We did custom intercooler piping, custom exhaust pieces. Our car is just going to be absolutely killer on the track.
All right, guys, I love hearing all this confidence, but let's turn them over to the judges to see what they have to say.
Do it.
Well, judges, awesome transformation, huh?
Are these the same cars?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Look at this. Let's take a look at the engine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Great little motor to put in here. It's a pretty good swap.
They did a nice job. Nice color coding the rad and the pipes here. Nice hood. Nice hood. Suits the car. Makes it look like the race car, but the paint scheme really suits this car, guys. Look at this. Beautiful two-tone job. Red on white.
Back in the old days, they used to paint all the Datsuns like that.
Just beautiful. And look at this, Chico.
I remember this car. This was a mess. Huh?
Yeah, this one was
The
one
brown
that-
interior.
Well, I can tell you, looking at the custom end of it, these guys did an amazing job. This interior is amazing. It's all done in ultra suede. This is the in thing today. I can't believe it's the same car. I can't wait to see the back. The stereo system, they got rid of the back seats.
Yeah.
What do you
Which
need them
they don't
for?
need it for, so.
I'm impressed. There's a lot of
Yeah,
work in here. It looks to me this was a A to Z transformation. How about if we look at the other one?
Again, another beautiful job. They did a nice job on this paint. That's the multi-tone. It flips different colors in the different light. That's really big now. A lot of guys like that on their cars.
Nice spoilers on the side or air
Yeah.
intakes.
Yeah, well, he fabricated that. That's a nice job.
It's a nice added touch.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of job they've done on the motor. Well, guys, looks like this is a stock engine.
This does look like the stock 400,000 kilometer engine that was in the car. So in a drift scene or a drift scenario, I would think that this engine would be better suited.
Why don't we look at the interior? Well, you can see it's a brand new head unit. I've noticed that they didn't put as much work on the gauges. You notice they basically mounted him to the dash. Looks, again, more like a street racer. Why don't we take a look at the trunk? Let's see what kind of job they've done. They've actually taken the trunk, molded some fiberglass. This is all fiberglass, painted. All the subfloors all been redone.
Yeah.
These guys have done the street look.
Really nice, clean.
It's amazing from
Yeah.
what we saw at
Yeah.
the beginning to
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
3
they
days.
did a great job. Yeah.
All right, teams, the judges have looked at your cars and given us their scores. We're not going to tell you yet.
Oh, man.
We're going to go to the track, we're going to drift, and whoever's judged to drift better is going to get 10 bonus points for the build.
Oh, nice. Okay,
So,
let's do it.
You guys ready to slide?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's go drifting.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Coming up, it's pure power versus suspension tuning as these 240s go drifting.
These Nissan 240s were built for one thing and one thing only, to drift. After 3 intense days in the garage, our two teams are ready to do battle here on this closed race course. Drifting is the art of sliding sideways with style and grace. It's not a timed event, so a panel of expert judges will assess our teams and give them scores. Whichever team wins here will get 10 bonus points for their build.
There's 4 basic criteria that we generally judge when we do our events. We have entry speed, we have the angle of the drift. If it's too little of an angle, he's not really putting anything out there, too much, and he spins out. We have the racing line, and we have the exit speed.
But you want to have a good combination of everything to get your maximum points.
The two teams have arrived at the track and are making final adjustments to their cars. After 3 days of team competition, this final showdown for bonus points is a one-on-one battle between Miggs for the Throttle Buddies and Chris for Team Slideways.
Miggs, from what everybody tells me, is probably one of the best drift car drivers around here.
How confident are you feeling you can take this car? You haven't had the chance to run much and go out there and win.
I just took it for a little drive and the car feels really tight. It's great. Overall, I am still pretty confident. Again, it comes down to the driver. I think I probably have more experience than the other driver.
It's gonna be the high point for me, getting to drive the car and beating the other team, driving it, getting to slide that car is gonna be amazing.
Each driver will get 2 attempts at drifting this corner, and our judges will score each run out of 40 points. Then we'll compare the best run of each drifter, and the top score wins the bonus. But first, both drivers get a few practice runs. Both drivers are unfamiliar with their cars, so they have to test their limits, with some unfortunate results. By the end of practice, Miggs is compensating for his car's lack of power and pulling off some killer drifts. Meanwhile, Chris struggles to keep control of his turbo car. Both teams get one final chance to make adjustments to their cars, and both cars have suffered minor damage during practice. But they're easy fixes, and they don't stop the two drivers from feeling good about their chances.
It's going like a champ. That was great.
He's got the power. All I need to do is go in that corner and power.
Car already looks good.
As long as I finish the corner, it should be good.
Each driver gets 2 runs, and only their best run counts. The top score out of 40 wins the 10 bonus points for their build. Miggs is up first for the Throttle Buddies.
Here's the money corner.
No, it's still holding.
Judges, he went off the road there, but what are you going to do for a score?
Normally when we have someone go off like that, it takes away a lot of points. Basically, out of 40, we gave him a total of 19.
It's Team Slideway's turn, but on Chris's first run,
I blew an intercooler pipe.
disaster strikes. With no turbo, he has to run the corner underpowered.
Slap him in, he's got to do it. This run counts. Let me see what the judges say here. Yeah. And what score did you assign for that first lap?
The entry speed, just much too slow.
Yeah, I was giving him a 12.
Chris is allowed to try and fix the car, but his team can't help him. While he works on his turbo problem, Miggs takes his last run for the Throttle Buddies, hoping to build on his slim lead.
Here he comes, guys.
Pressure's on. Caps.
He was doing so much better in practice.
Yep.
Miggs, what happened there, man?
I have no idea. It's coming too hot.
He's a much better driver than that. Maybe the pressure competition getting to his head.
I have no idea what it is I'm doing wrong.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the judges now about the scores, all right?
Okay, second corner there again. Miggs is really good with the entry speed, and then it just spun out. So on that second run again, you give him a 10 out of 40.
Thank you, judges.
He's better than that. We know he's a good driver. What happened, Miggs?
The Throttle Buddies are disappointed, but the team still holds the lead in the drift. Chris has one more run for Team Slideways, and his quick repair seems to have fixed the turbo problem.
All right, here we go. This is the only corner that matters. Bring her in. All right, so we know already that the other team got 19 points for their best corner. Let's go talk to the judges. Judges, are you there?
The second run was much better. He got a really good entry speed, 82 kilometers an hour. We actually thought he was going to go off, so we give him props for holding on to that and keeping it on the track. So like that, we give him about a 29.
29 points. Thank you, judges. 29 points, guys. That means that you've won the track competition.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Congratulations. Now we got to go figure out who won the war. Okay, teams, we all know what happened out there in the drift. Team Slideways, congratulations.
Woo! Heck yeah.
Remember, your cars were judged out of 60 points back in the garage, 20 points for each of the major categories. Now in mechanical work, the judges loved the engine swap. Slideways did. They awarded you guys 17 points out of 20.
Nice. Yes, sweet.
Throttle buddies, they liked your work, but they only gave you guys 11 out of 20.
Ooh.
Now on exterior body and paint, they liked the multicolored paint scheme. They gave you guys 17 points out of 20.
Nice, nice.
And they only gave you guys 15 out of 20.
Oh, weak.
However, on interior work, for the first time on War of the Wheels, they've awarded you guys 20 points out of 20.
Yeah! Right, good job, Paulie, man. Good job.
Throttle buddies, they liked your work, but they only gave you 15 out of 20. Yeah.
Good. 15.
That's 52 points for Slideways, 43 points for the Throttle Buddies. That means you add the race in Slideways, you've won the War of the Wheels.
All right, guys. Good driving. Good driving. Good build, guys.
Good job.